Warehouse.
I can't wait for this one. It's never these two teams, but you know you're in for a blockbuster.
Phoenix have got one ahead, and it's Sobey.
The pass inside was terrific again, and the finish, magnificence.
Oh, behind the back, that's pretty to watch as he feeds Humphries for the dunk.
Sobey gave it up for Wieskamp. It goes.
Davis back to DJ, another three down.
Well, I've seen NBL basketball at its best here this evening.
From a 0-5 start, the rise of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix has been one of the stories of NBL25. And as they walk back into John Cain Arena this afternoon, one step closer to locking away a top 3 finish. And for the Adelaide 36ers, let's face it, every day is a roller coaster with this team. You just never quite know what is coming up next. Sunday hoops on a scorching day here in Melbourne. We've got Southeast Melbourne playing host to Adelaide as the Mitsubishi Matters ladder is getting tighter and tighter. I'm Jack Heverin, Beck Allen and Andrew Gaze alongside me, two megastars of Australian basketball. Look at that ladder, Beck. It is getting tighter and tighter by the game.
Oh, it absolutely does, and that's what gives this game such a playoff feel, doesn't it? The energy is here in this arena at John Cain. So today's game honestly could go either way, and I'm excited to see how it's going to play out.
Andrew Gaze, welcome to you. We're just starting to have an understanding of some teams who are locked in. Not everyone's locked in yet,
yes,
but a couple are well and truly locked in.
Well, they're certainly locked in, you would think, and you look at all the different situations that can unfold. Bottom line is the Adelaide 36ers just said thank you very much, Melbourne United, for their win last night, because that virtually locks them in. But now it's about the shuffling of positions, and the Phoenix still got a lot to play for. They could finish as high as 3rd, or they could still stay about where they're at, and they've got a tough one next week in the derby against Melbourne United. So this is a big one in front of a big Phoenix crowd. So excited to see what team shows up, because they've got a couple of superstars out in the court, and Kendrick Davis is one that just, if it wasn't for Bryce Cotton, I reckon that he'd be picking up an MVP trophy. Such has been his form. Number 2 in scoring, number 1 in assists, and number 1 in highlight reels as well. He can do a lot out on the court. He is must-watch television, so looking forward to seeing what he dishes up tonight.
But as we saw on Friday, as we take a look at some of his highlights from the season, he holds all of the keys to Adelaide winning, and there was some really good things on Friday, but a couple of other things as well that I think he'd like his time again on.
I think the entire team, when they look back on their performance against Brisbane, would be very disappointed. The energy efforts, and Kendrick Davis, he sometimes takes matters into his own hands, and he's delivered on many occasions, but can often do a little too much. His shot selection against the Brisbane Bullets was a little poor, but you've got 2 MVP candidates in Matt Hurt and Kendrick Davis going at it this afternoon.
And Beck, Matt Hurt, as we can see his numbers on the screen right now, has just fitted in so well here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. He's versatile, he's got a lot of skills, and he's great to watch.
I mean, he's quickly become a fan favourite. You look at those numbers, he's averaging 20 points. He's shooting the ball above 50%. He knows where to get the ball in his spots on the floor, but it's the way that he can stretch it by shooting that 3 like we see there. But it's also his way of getting to the bucket, and he's just so crafty. And I think for Southeast Melbourne, a key to their success is getting the ball through his hands, because he's a creator not only for himself but for his teammates. So he's been absolutely huge for Southeast Melbourne.
And needless to say, I mean, they've got matters at hand here, but they would love to get him back next season.
Oh, I mean, that's a no-brainer, isn't it? Surely they're already in contact with his agent. They want him to stay, but he's just been such an easy fit for the group, and obviously a good person around the group as well. So they're hard to find a full package player like him.
The battle of the big men in the middle today, Drew, is going to be fascinating. Yes. Jordan Hunter's had a great season, but he's going to have his hands full today with Montrezl Harrell.
My word, Montrezl, he's an excitement machine. He'll engage with his teammates, with the officials, with the coaches, with the fans.
Oh, we don't want him doing that.
Well, in a nice, emotive way. But he has been fantastic. The points around the basket, he's shown he can knock down the 3. Hit a big 3 against the Bullets in the dying stages to give them a chance at home the other night. But he's versatile too, can get to the floor. They run a lot of ISO plays for him from the wing, and he can get to the cup, finish around the basket. He is a superstar of our competition, and is another one that he's exciting to watch because you never really know what you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, he's just putting on a show for the fans here at John Cain Arena. He's been down and had a little bit of shadow boxing underneath the backboard. He's grabbed the rim. He looks like he's set to go this afternoon as we take a look at the Adelaide 36ers and their starting lineup coming into this one as well. It's been fairly settled, Beck. This is a lineup that Mike Wells has landed on for the back half of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all know that he has a short bench. He doesn't really use too much of a rotation, so they're playing really big minutes out on the floor. So in terms of chemistry, they should be knowing each other pretty well by now.
And for the Phoenix, still without Derek Walton Jr., getting closer to a return from a hamstring injury, but Owen Foxwell stepped into the role beautifully.
My word, he's shooting the ball really efficiently. He creates for others, and probably most importantly, he's that pesky little guy that picks up in the backcourt, and I suspect that he's going to have a lot of responsibility on Davis.
Yeah. Ken Widgeon, Michael Aylen, and Mark Christ, our three men in charge this afternoon. 5th versus 6th on the ladder. This could very easily be a preview of the play-in series coming up in the next couple of weeks. Southeast Melbourne make Matt Hurt a priority straight away.
And that's what you want to see. You want to see them get him the ball early, get him going, get him feeling good, and I hope they continue to do this as the game goes on.
Well, the thing about it is, too, Montrez, for all the greatness he's provided, sometimes his effort on the defensive end as Davis just throws it into the Sixers bench, but sometimes his efforts on the defensive end, particularly in those on-ball situations, now that was a straight ISO, he's got to do a better job of keeping Hurt in front because otherwise it's going to be a long night for the 36ers.
Hurt for 3 this time. Bit deep on that one. Offensive rebound by Sobey. Started with him. Got Vasiljevic up in the air and the high arcing jumper doesn't go. Hunter on the offensive glass, fouled and one.
Well, when they're going through it and you look at the Adelaide 36ers, one thing, an area that they've really struggled on is rebounding. They're second last in rebound percentage, and here you see Phoenix get 3 or 4 cracks at it, and that's not going to get it done. They're the types of epic plays, and they've got some good size out there with Humphries and with Montrez that they should be way better than 9th in the competition in rebound percentage.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big thing they were saying after their Brisbane game too. Effort is what was lacking in their game, so you wouldn't want to see that as the start to today.
5 field goal attempts to 0 in a minute. Loud and boisterous crowd at John Cain Arena. First time the Phoenix have been back here since the 21st of January. Turnover. And Hunter is chopped at the other end.
Second turnover, Jack, in the first minute and a bit. And it just looks sloppy. They take it away, they run that early action, little dribble handoff, and then you see the trying to get it back to Davis. And I like this timeout that's been called by Mike Wells because after, on the back of what they dished up against the Brisbane Bullets, he needs to see a bit more fire in the belly from the Adelaide 36ers.
I think that was a smart decision from the coach calling this timeout. You can see that Montrez wasn't so happy about it, but I feel that sometimes you do need to regroup as a full team rather than just the 5 on the floor.
Well, he's come out firing today, Matt Hurt, and Steph Baumgartel caught up with him pre-game.
We've seen Adelaide ramp up their defensive capabilities in the last few weeks. What do you make of their defensive performance?
Yeah, obviously having Vasiljevic back is always good for them. Really good scorer, but yeah, I mean, they're starting to win a lot more games now, especially now they're fully healthy, and it's going to be a tough test for us, but I think we're capable of it.
DJ mentioned you and Nathan Sobey being a formidable duo for them to come up against. How do you rate yourself and Sobey as a duo together?
I feel like we're probably one of the best ones in the league for sure. I mean, I think it's kind of hard whether you switch it, whether you're going to kind of drop coverages because we can both shoot. So I think it's very tough for other teams, but hopefully we can keep it going tonight.
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey they've been on. I think Nathan Sobey, when you look at his form at the start of the season, he was a little erratic, but found his way. Josh King really found the buttons to push with Nathan Sobey. And the big fella, Matt Hurt, no doubt he would have been up early this morning. Wasn't that early? About 11 o'clock, watching the
11 o'clock
in AM, watching the Duke Blue Devils.
No, but he wakes up before then.
Oh yeah, but I'm just talking about tuning in. His alma mater, just completely eviscerated the North Carolina Tar Heels, and they still get him excited to see his alma mater doing well.
Absolutely.
And one of the better teams, number 2 ranked team in the nation. So that always adds a little extra motivation. You watch your team do well, excites you to play.
6-0 start. Adelaide have burnt a timeout. Off the back of what was a pretty disappointing loss as Davis and Foxwell get caught up.
Yeah, that was a little too much by Foxwell. He's up there trying to look all innocent, but there was a lot of contact in the backcourt. And as I said, this is by design. He's going to be pesky. He's going to be up and in, just trying to be as annoying as he possibly can to Davis.
I think we saw them against Perth. That was his matchup, was on Bryce Cotton, and he was face guarding him.
Hunter denies Humphreys. Went upstairs and sent him packing.
So yeah, Foxwell has a huge defensive responsibility tonight.
He rips baseline on Mayan and then feeds Hunter. Foul. With a block at one end and free throws at the other.
Great timing by Geordie Hunter. You read that, and the thing that sticks out here the most is the defensive intensity by the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They have come out and really set the tone early. Now it's only 6, I should say 7 now. But Adelaide have not been able to get into anything that remotely resembles any type of structure to get their offense going.
On the other hand, Southeast Melbourne have got it looking the way they want right now. Extended defense, it's become a trademark of their game under Josh King. Matt Mayan forced into the ball handling duties. Owen Foxwell just completely turning his back on the play as Adelaide with their opening bucket of the day.
Well, not just him, they're doing the same with Montrez as well. They're in full denial, trying to limit their catches.
Foxwell loads up for 3.
I mean, he deserved that shot. He's playing some relentless defense, but it's good vision by his teammates. Good take.
Mike Wells thought there was a foul there on Lat Mayan. Took it straight at Jordan Hunter. He rolls to the cup at the other end.
And he loved it.
The hardest roller in the NBL. Jordan Hunter with the jam, and it's a 13-4 lead early for the home team. Davis with some space, got away from Foxwell and drains the 3.
He's going to have to make the most of those opportunities for any amount of space to get a shot off like that. So it's not going to be an easy night. Well done, Sobe.
That's the pace of this game early on.
Certainly one way it's at an ideal pace.
Davis crosses over on Wieskamp. Good dump off to Mayan, but a travel before that. Southeast Melbourne 15-12 for the season, 9-4 at home. Sobey for back-to-back threes. The Phoenix ball. How have you seen the last 2 or 3 games from Nathan Sobey, Andrew Gase?
He's been up and down. I think that, it has been with the season, there's been some moments where he's been spectacular and been a key reason why they've been rejuvenated. But then you don't know what you're going to get with Sobe. Sometimes he'll make some plays where you just shake your head and you think, well, what was going through your head? But the good always outweighs the bad. And Davis, who's been hounded, is still finding ways to create some separation and gets a score. He'd be relieved to see Foxwell on the bench.
5 of their 9 points early on, Kendrick Davis. We're talking about the pace of this game, Beck, but also it's noticeable how physical it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, the physicality for sure. And it's going to be interesting how the refs choose to call this game as well. You've got Adelaide, who really love to get to that free throw line. So, and that's an issue the Southeast Melbourne have had in the past games of allowing teams to get to the line so much. So this is going to require a lot of discipline from them.
Jason Kadee into the game, the veteran. Wieskamp, oh, he's foul. That's a hard landing. He looks to be okay.
Well, he's another one that's really struggled at the start of the season to find his way. Very explosive. Now, we didn't just, you could see the ball roll out of his hands, but he can play above the rim. And for a three-point shooter, he was brought in primarily for what he could do from the three-point line. And at the start of the season, his numbers were horrifically bad. But he's been able to work his way through it. And Josh King just, again, pushing the right buttons, trying to create the right set of circumstance for him as well.
It's the story of that team, though, isn't it? It's the way things have turned around. There's a lot of confidence that comes with that, but there's been trust from your teammates.
Harrell rolls to the basket. Little dump off underneath for Kadee. Timed his run to perfection.
And those types of plays are on. When you're in real that pressure defense, those back cuts and weak side action can help. But if they don't start playing some defense down this end, it is going to be a long night and going to put enormous pressure on their offense.
It's not their specialty, the defensive end, Adelaide. 7th in the competition in defensive rating. 7th in the competition for points allowed as well. Vasiljevic from a long, long way out.
You see that push so much. If your defense isn't sort of that top tier, then you're putting a lot of pressure on your offense because you can't just keep trading buckets.
Sobey thought about it. Brings out for Matt Hurt. Kendrick Davis has now got Kenyon for company. He pulls up in transition. Ambitious three, doesn't go. 5 of 9 to start the game, Adelaide. Southeast Melbourne, 6 of 11 from the field. There's a turnover. So subs for both teams, and the story here for Adelaide, Andrew Gaze, is Nick Marshall into the game in the first quarter has played a total of 1 minute and 30 seconds in the last 9 games.
Yeah, and he was, early on in the season, he was very much a part of their rotation. They went away from him, and they did have some wins during that period of time. But when you talk about getting some energy into both ends of the floor, he can provide that, and that could be unsportsmanlike. They're going to have a talk about it, the officials. Was that a legitimate play on the ball?
I mean, if he I hope he disguised it well for himself. They've obviously said that it's the reviewing.
Sending it up to the replay centre. And this is going to be a normal foul. It was on the edge, though, Beck. On the edge.
I had to have been.
Ben Ayre's another one. You talk about Nick Marshall. Ben Ayre has been used in a real limited way throughout most of the season. I was talking before the start of the game because he's signed with the Sandringham Sabres in the NBL1. I said, yeah, just take a spell at the start of the season because we've got him early on. He said, well, man, what are you talking about? I've had a spell the whole season in his eyes. So now,
that was a funny answer.
So
does the Melbourne Tigers budget not extend to Ben Ayre? Is that?
No, it doesn't. But he's getting an opportunity. He had some good minutes against the Wildcats a couple of nights ago, and he's another one that brings a whole bunch of energy.
9-point lead to Southeast Melbourne. Shot clock winding down. Harrell had position underneath. Draws a foul from Malik Lewis.
I mean, unfortunate foul at the end, but what I do love about Southeast Melbourne is the way that they all buy into their roles. You see, like, Matty Kenyon coming on now, he knows he has a defensive assignment, and you see how locked in he is right now.
Pass knocked down. And now to play with hands from Matt Kenyon. Out there with Glover, Ayre, Hurt and Lewis. For the 36ers, Marshall, Davis, Kadee, Harrell and Detch. Kenyon all up and in on Kendrick Davis. And a late whistle, it drops.
It's been impressive because
Score a goal.
he's had to deal with some very close guarding. He hasn't bought in and got frustrated. He's just gone about getting buckets with what he does. He's got 7, and now a chance to make it 8.
I just think he doesn't need to reach. Kenyon doesn't need to reach at the end to make him take that tough shot, a fadeaway. It's not the easiest look. Great defense to that point.
Montrez out, Humphries back in. Adelaide have lost their 3 games here at John Cain Arena, all by 20 plus.
Yeah.
Something about this gym that the 36ers don't like. Glover on the move, blocked by Humphries.
That's exactly why they love having Humphries on the floor.
And Marshall plays through that contact and scores. Adelaide have got this back to 4.
It's a genuine test for Marshall too. When you haven't been playing, haven't been part of the rotation for such a long period of time, you can be a little anxious, and it's good to get out there, pick up a relatively cheap one in transition to get your confidence going.
They scored the last 5, the 36ers. It was a shaky start, but things are starting to take shape for them. Jason Kadee with his first bucket of the afternoon.
They've weathered the storm. It was an explosive start by Phoenix, but they've chipped away, now got themselves back into a very nice position.
Lewis couldn't get his 3-ball away. Angus Glover never needs an invitation. Phoenix get another look at it. Lewis inside. A little steadier, perhaps, for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Nice from Humphries.
It's nice seeing him being aggressive too, faking the handoff, getting to the basket.
Phoenix wind that shot clock down to 10. Ben Andrew will close out. They sit off Kenyon. He left his 3 short as well. And it's an Adelaide ball. Let's get over to the Adelaide 36ers bench. Steph Baumgartel. There's a bit going on here just in the corner of our eyes.
There certainly is, Jack. It wasn't too long ago that Montrezl Harrell got into it with some fans here at John Cain Arena, and it seems some fans are looking to try that again. There's a lot of security down here after 2 fans and Montrez got into a verbal altercation. It seems to have simmered for now, but security is certainly watching closely.
Here we go again. Vasiljevic drives. He misses out. Just before that, we saw it all in the Amy replay. A lot happening right now. Foxwell out of play. So Montrezl Harrell is on the end of the Adelaide bench, as Steph said right now. He does have a history in this venue. There's Jarrell Martin not playing today with a calf injury.
I mean, there comes a point where you've just got to lock in on the game. There's always going to be the surrounding noise. There's fans chirping. You know, you've got your opposition as well, but there's a point you've just got to stay locked into the job.
Spot on. You've got to almost treat it as a badge of honour that some of these fans are getting into you, and you've got to be, particularly in the context of what happened a few months ago, and understanding the consequences that bite your lip and not engage, and might well is maybe the best place for him is getting back out on the court so he doesn't have to deal with it.
Well, here he comes. Vasiljevic scores. It's a 1-point game. Beck Allen, you said that this has got the feel of a play-in game before we started. So far, it is exactly that.
It really is, and it goes back to what you said about the physicality of the game. You can just see it's so physical on either end of the floor. Here we go, let's take a look. See, I think he just needs to zone out some of that and just focus on the game in front of him. Because you can't be that easy to crack.
Yeah, and the fans will bite on that. If you just ignore it, they eventually get sick of it and go away. But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to engage, and you know, sometimes it's just a bit of friendly banter, and that's acceptable as long as the fans haven't crossed the line. And,
that's right, yeah.
And Montrez has got to be able to be more composed, and if they do cross the line, just report it. Get the security and toss the knucklehead out. The knucklehead being the fan.
Oh, I'm glad you clarified that one first. I was sure of it, but...
It's just nice to hear the word knucklehead too.
It was.
We don't see it enough. We don't hear it enough these days, that word.
Oh, I'm showing my age.
Just a little.
26-23. Adelaide were down by as much as 9 in the early stages of quarter number 1, but they've started to settle into this game now. Davis defers to Keanu Rasmussen. His first look is wide. Phoenix like to explore early in the shot clock. Little mid-range jumper from Sobey. He's got 9 first quarter points.
He does, and when he gets going, it's good to watch, but I really want to also see him not just be a scorer, facilitate as well, because that's when he's at his absolute best.
Humphries and Hunter bang away. Sobey pulls up over the top of Vasiljevic. That wasn't there.
Second chance points.
One thing's for sure, when Nathan Sobey does get in a little patch, he is going to test to see how hot he is. He's going to be aggressive, and you see it both possessions. Took the shot, gets it straight back. He's got no other thought than trying to finish and shoot the ball. And that's where he's just got to find that balance.
Yeah.
2 fouls on Humphries. Nathan Sobey, he's a little quiet on Friday in Perth, only 8 points on 2 of 9 shooting.
Trying to get him out for this last possession as well. Nick Marshall coming in, and I would guess he's coming in for Isaac.
Isaac, he has a fouling issue. Sometimes that happens a lot in games, and it can take him out of the game too, just rather than just be on the bench. But when he comes back in, less aggressive, maybe doesn't look to assert himself to get the ball.
Davis with ball in hand, shot clock switched off. Gave it up for Harrell. Here's Nick Marshall. The Youngster can't make it count. It's Southeast Melbourne who lead by 7 at quarter time at John Cain Arena. A play-in field for Sunday Hoops. Southeast Melbourne 30, Adelaide 23 here on Sunday Hoops. Plenty on the line this afternoon at John Cain Arena. It's the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix who lead 30-23 over the Adelaide 36ers. Nathan Sobey has 11 first quarter points. And with Adelaide, you just never know what's going to come. It was a slow start, a really nice patch towards the middle, and then the Phoenix pulled away at the back end of the quarter.
I mean, also what's interesting is after last game, Coach King was frustrated at them not being able to get to the free throw line, barely getting any calls at line. Now they've got 12 or 15 in that first quarter. So I don't know if the refs have listened or whatnot, but at least they're being aggressive, getting themselves to the line tonight.
Marshall in the corner. Similar spot to the back end of quarter number one. Second quarters have been a massive problem for the Phoenix all year. Sobey threw it up there for Hunter.
It's just too many points. Your offense has to be so efficient. You're giving up 30 in the first. If you keep on that average, you've got to get 121 to win. I mean, that's just not going to... It's highly unrealistic to happen.
Joe Wieskamp with a rebound. Gets to take a field goal attempt. He's trying to get busy at the start of the second. Rebound by Montrezl Harrell. Steph Baumgartel, there was a lot of drama in front of this Adelaide bench in the first quarter.
There certainly was, Jack. It seems to have simmered down by now. They have spoken to the fans. They won't be ejected, and they have reassured us that that should not continue. There should be no more talking to the players, but there is an increased security presence at the players' bench.
It sort of looks like the security that Andrew Gaze has when he walks into the building in front of the Adelaide bench. Vasilevic lays it up.
It's the easiest 2 points he's ever had all season, I feel.
Yeah.
Just open right up.
Not sure who was in the corner there, but just conceded a wide open layup. And this, I like this hurt on the box. I think sometimes they go away from it too much and they switch and get the little guy on him. And when you look at the Phoenix, they do a good job around the basket. In fact, Matt Hurt in particular, he's first amongst qualified players at second chance points, and that indicates that his work around the basket on those second shots is elite, but also just posting him up and letting him do his thing down low. I think sometimes too, Adelaide, they like to switch a lot, and you can get exposed like we saw that last time there.
I agree with you, and I think that especially if you're using the switch in an unaggressive way, switching doesn't mean lazy defense, and that's sometimes where I think they can get caught.
Beck Allen and Andrew Gaze in commentary this afternoon. Steph Baumgartel courtside at John Cain Arena. The final game of round 19 here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Sunday Dets. No foul called. Good enough to finish all the same. Sunday will get a behaviour warning for his troubles as well.
That's rare, is all I can say. That's rare for him.
There's a lot of contact on that last play. Hunter, nice find for Wieskamp. Beautiful dive.
He is an elite five-man in our competition, Geordie Hunter. I don't think he gets the credit that others would for whatever reason. And there he is at the other end. Super pass one end, block shot at the other. And he runs the floor as good as any big man in the competition.
Get it to him now, yeah.
Got the mismatch. Cross-court pass for Glover.
This is Andrew Bogut-like. The way he's just dishing him out.
Did he call the coach, tell the coach to do a timeout as well? He signaled over to the Adelaide coach. That is funny. He's feeling good.
But this passing by Geordie Hunter, it's superb. Sees the floor really well. With that size, if you send a hint of a double team, you could just throw over the top of defenders as Nathan Sobey checks out of the game.
Tough finish by Harrell. They cut it back to 10. Whenever we do an Adelaide game, Drew, and we've done quite a lot of them this year, it's watching the way that they interact with each other, like we're seeing right now, watching the body language. They're a fascinating team for good and for bad.
You can see today there's two very different teams. You saw at the end of the first quarter as well. one team goes into their huddle, there's smiles, there's high fives, the other one heads down, frustration. It's just two different teams.
Here's Latmayer's turn to step up. Phoenix with a double-figure lead, and Ben Air expands on that. Game-high 13-point margin.
Well, full credit to Ben Air, and Nick Marshall is in the same category, staying ready. Oh, my!
Yeah, wow.
Nick Marshall aggressively goes at Geordie Hunter and almost pulled off the dunk of the season. But to stay ready, as you look at the Amy replay, Ben Air, he's been a cheerer on the sideline for big chunks of the season, but against the Wildcats and again today, he's come out and he hasn't backed away and he's been ready. That's not easy to do.
Well, they've had a really good look at it here, that last play with Nick Marshall and Jordan Hunter, and at the last second, they've decided to challenge this one, South East Melbourne.
Oh dear. Looked like there was a bit of contact.
Need to see it again.
Looking forward to the replay here, but aggressive Nick Marshall going in, trying to posterise Geordie Hunter. Well, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Hard to tell from that. I think the body's okay. He's going straight up.
The arms are fine though to me.
Maybe just the body a little bit, because it doesn't look like he hit the hand or the arm. It's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I like the way Marshall. Unsuccessful is the decision.
I was just about to ask Beck to make a call on this one.
So glad I didn't have to.
Ken Widgeon came over and told us the
Actually,
answer.
ask me now.
I'd like to.
Coach's challenge is unsuccessful. Well, let's get the explanation. Scott Butler in the replay centre. Scott, welcome.
Afternoon, everybody. So Hunter just jumps across and into the shooter, takes the shooter's body and legs. That foul will stand on that play.
Spot on.
Body.
I tell you, I said it last night. He's in form. He's seeing it. And that's a spot on. That's a good call.
Yeah.
With the body and the push.
There's a lot of contact in that.
Yeah. Well done to the official, and well done to Scott Butler.
Just picked up a little bit there of Mike Wells. He looked at the bench and said to Latmay, "What are you doing here? That's my fault."
Yeah.
Interesting. Phoenix by 11. Derek Walton Jr. still missing with a hamstring injury for South East Melbourne. Good news is that he's up and running at the moment. The foul on Wieskamp still going. 18 rebounds, make that 19 rebounds now to 9 in favour of South East Melbourne.
And the 36ers do not have a single offensive rebound, so they're one and done on most occasions. And that's be very encouraging for Josh King.
Hurt for 3. Malik Lewis, the next star, gets after it.
They're just playing harder, aren't they?
Wieskamp unloads. He's no good either.
To me, that's a bad shot. They had the switch. They had Davis guarding Hurt on the box. Throw it into the big fella.
Vasiljevic drives and draws a foul. So I guess the question here with Adelaide, and this is a pretty general conversation that we've had for most of the season, but by virtue of Tasmania losing last night, they should finish 6th, Adelaide, from here. What does a play-in game look like with the 36ers? Are they able to get it all together and be on the same page for 4 quarters and win the first play-in game?
I mean, that's the huge question, isn't it? And that's one that I don't think anyone can answer. I feel like every other night, you sort of don't know what team you are going to get. They were on a bit of a roll, but then after the loss to Brisbane, seems to have rattled them. It was not the style that they've been wanting to play there. And then you just hope that it doesn't roll on to this game too.
And if you look at the matchups, they would be a tough team to go up against. And the Sydney Kings, who have had their problems against the Adelaide 36ers, is a potential matchup. Hurt just down low, getting busy, out working, out hustling. But you would not want to be facing, even on the road, the Adelaide 36ers. In fact, they probably welcome the opportunity to go to Sydney, given what they've done to them in Sydney this season.
But it's an interesting one because if you watch them Friday night, you would think, yeah, I'll have a piece of Adelaide with the way they played on Friday. So it's, yeah, they're, as I said before, they're fascinating for the good and for the bad.
Well, you're seeing the bad here these last few minutes on the defensive end.
46 points the Phoenix have, and there's still 4 minutes left in the quarter.
You saw the Jack Jumpers last night put up 61 in the first half.
There's our pump by Reebok seats for the afternoon. Eamon Israel, Annabelle Lee, Lewis Hansen, they're all there. Everyone wants a piece of this game, and everyone wants a piece of finals tickets coming up. I'm sure you probably already had the question asked by a few friends for finals tickets.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a big ticket item, and as is Beck Allen. Reebok have just gone deep into the chest of their budget to sign Beck Allen.
Look at me looking at you right now.
Well, I saw you posted it on the Instagram.
Daggers of a look right now.
You're on Instagram, you're telling the world that Foxwell knocked
we love Reebok, we do. We love Reebok.
There we go.
I'm sure if there was any marketing budget for the Gazy shoes, he'd love to have you in the stable, Beck. But very small marketing budget for the Gazy.
That's right.
Vasiljevic from outside. Montrezl Harrell's got his Reeboks on this afternoon.
Yeah. Iverson's.
His team down at the moment, though. Points won't count.
No bucket. 124. Push. 2 shots, fellas. Thank you. Shooter.
Now, fouls becoming a bit of a problem here.
Nope. You got 2 shots.
For Adelaide, Humphries, Mayen, Harrell with 2 apiece, as is Kadee and Sunday Dech. Don't forget, of course, scan that QR code on your screen. It's part of Champion Pride Round. White Wells has got a bit of a juggle here in this last 3.5 minutes. Kendrick Davis leading the way for Adelaide. We'll switch on to Sobey. Matt Mayen trying to back in. Tough jumper. Nice D from Wieskamp.
Still yet to get an O board in the contest, the Adelaide 36ers.
Humphries comes up with it for Adelaide. Couple of turnovers in succession. Davis slices through the middle.
That's
and
unreal.
the finish from Kendrick Davis. That is extraordinary.
That is, his handle splitting the on-ball screen and getting down. That's unreal. Can you do that too, Gazy?
Well, the way he was able to split the gap and amongst the tall timber, I thought the drop-off pass of Lat Mayen was the one, but he made it in traffic.
On the catch. Doesn't have an impact, he scores.
As a swift, direct response to Josh King's query about the potential N1.
8 points for Matt Hurt. Then the offensive foul. It'll be 3 on Montrez.
Not a lot of contact. First impressions look like he went down a little easy, but have a look at this. Davis comes in. 2 big fellas there. Athletic, he found the smallest gap of windows to get through and still was able to finish it. And Montrez picks up his 3rd.
We won't be seeing any more of Montrezl Harrell for the back end of this first half. Humphries with some more heavy lifting to do in the middle. Shot clock at 7. A foul on Hunter. Kenyon tries to clean it up and does. 14 points is the lead. New game-high margin, but only for a moment. Kendrick Davis taking matters into his own hands.
But you just see that there's really no system or method to how they're playing their offense. It's really drive, kick, someone's open, drive again, drive. There's no real system.
We certainly don't see a lot of cutting.
No.
And off the ball action.
There's no space to, it feels. Oh,
Pass Davis for Sunday Dance. Is that what you're after?
Well, a nice back cut, but that was just again created by Davis. 6 of 8 from the field. Super efficient for his 14 points.
Three-point play coming up for Sobey.
He pats his chest and says, my bad, because he was the one who lost vision on Sunday Dash down the other end that allowed him to get that back cut. It's always good when you've made a defensive error if you can come back straight away and make a basket. Erase that memory real quick. I'm sure the coach forgets about it as quickly.
81% free throw shooter this season, Nathan Sobey.
He's up to 14-2.
56-43, final minute of the first half. Harrell and Humphries off the floor together, so an ultra small lineup that Adelaide are running with right now. Vasiljevic had to invent something. The Phoenix make them pay at the other end.
Oh dear.
And now a turnover. Wieskamp for Hunter. He was in there for too long.
Thought he was there a little too long. It's just helter-skelter stuff right now. And they're just having all sorts of problems. And Mike Wells wants to just calm the team down in the last 26 seconds. DJ Vasiljevic is one that they need to find a way to get him going. He's 2 of 7 from the field. He's got the 6 points in. He's the sort of guy that can get anxious. Yep. And sometimes that leads to him taking some tough, poor shots.
Contested shots.
Well, speaking of DJ, he caught up with Steph Baumgartel pre-game today.
Makes sense.
Outside of Friday night, it was 3 straight wins, and we've seen you guys at the best defensive level you've been at all season, sitting at the top of the comp in that area. How would you describe Adelaide when you're firing that bit and strong?
Very hard team to stop, but it's got to be an every game thing. It can't be when we want to play against the best, we come out with the best, and then obviously I don't want to discredit Brisbane because they beat us, but they're not the best team in the comp, and they came in and kicked our ass really. So we just got to come in every game like it matters, and take care of business.
What's the biggest threat that South East Melbourne poses for you guys today?
Obviously, Josh King makes them play really, really hard. They pick up full court. They probably have the best power forward, one of the best power forwards in Matt Hurt as well. He does a good job. Sobey gets downhill. So they just play like a good collective team basketball, and we got to stop that. And by the way we do that is moving the ball offensively against stops defensively.
They have to try and make some adjustments in this second half and do a bit more of what DJ just spoke about.
I mean, he spoke about movement just then too, movement of the ball, and it's when they start getting to that one-pass offense or the no pass is just all dribbled, that's when they're not always playing at their best, and it makes the game very hard.
And when you're up against this pressure defense and you get it down your half court and you don't have a lot of screening and cutting, it's difficult to get the separation.
Yeah.
You need to get some help through your system to relieve some of the pressure.
Shot clock at 10, a wide open Nick Marshall. He's had a few looks from that spot. Hasn't been able to knock any of them down. Ben Air at the other end. Unloads a bomb on the halftime siren. 61 first half points from the South East Melbourne Phoenix. They have come out all guns blazing on Sunday Hoops.
It's way too many. It's way too many to put that type of pressure on your offense. Ben Air still You know, I thought this was a bad shot. If you look up, there's that 6 seconds to go when he caught that in rhythm, but he was good enough to knock it down. And this has been an impressive display by the Phoenix.
Let's get over to Steph.
Thanks, Jack. I've got Nathan Sobey with me. Nathan, it's a decent margin for you guys. What are you liking about your start?
Yeah, I mean, the margin doesn't really matter for anything right now, but I think our defensive intent for at least half of that first half was great. A couple of easy layups and stuff for them a couple of times as well. If we can knuckle down on that, I think we'll be a much better stead after this.
It's an important match for Adelaide tonight. How do you stop them from turning things around the second half?
I mean, it's just as important for us. We've got to keep winning. We've got to keep worrying about ourselves. That's all we're worried about right now.
Go well.
Cheers.
Big first half from Southeast Melbourne. Plenty to talk about and plenty to think about for the Adelaide 36ers. They trail by 18. Sunday hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Half-time here at John Cain Arena, 61-43 is the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix lead. At times it's been tight, but for most of that second quarter, Andrew Gaze and Beck Allen, the Phoenix got on top, and this is a big lead at the half.
I mean, right now they have full momentum and they're playing their style of basketball. It's fun to watch. It looks like it's fun to play, but they're playing with speed as well, and you're seeing just with how they're taking control in terms of scoring, but rebounds, that's been massive for them.
Yeah, and if we look at the numbers for the halftime break, we said at the halftime, at the end of the first quarter, that 30 is too many. And this competition puts too much pressure on your offense. Well, they burped up 31 in the second quarter, so it didn't get any better for the Adelaide 36ers. And as we go inside the locker room of Phoenix. They'd be feeling really good about themselves, the way they've been able to defend, the pressure they've been able to put on the Adelaide 36ers, and the effort. And they'll be looking at the data, and Josh King will look at the stat sheet and see that the Adelaide 36ers have 0 offensive rebounds. Now, you'd think if you're hustling, you're going to get lucky. The one's going to bounce your way somewhere along the line. But they haven't been able to do that, so full credit to the Phoenix for the way they've crashed the board.
Well, a big part of that is Jordan Hunter, Beck. He's been massive on the glass in the first half.
He has. He's got 3 offensive boards, so he's just creating those second chance points for his team. But I just love how he's making all these little bunnies around the rim. He's getting fouls, he's getting to the line. But not only he's scoring, it's his passes as well. He's finding his teammates, those skip passes across the court so they're getting clean, open threes. He's been a huge asset.
Yeah, it is, and he's a star of the competition and efficient around the basket. He great on the glass and the passing. Have a look at this one here, just the around the body, beautiful. Finds it, and then he followed it up with a beautiful cross-court pass. He's a great rim protector, and he's having a great one here tonight. The energy that he's playing with has really stuck out, and 3 of 6 from the field, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, which has been a bit of his Achilles heel. It can be a little variable, but knocking it down. Good start for Geordie Hunter.
For the Adelaide 36ers, they've got a lot of work to do in the second half, no question about that. Kendrick Davis is trying all that he can to keep them in the game. How have you seen his half?
I mean, he definitely hasn't been able to play his best basketball. He's always got someone directly next to him, in front of him, with a hand in his face. So South East Melbourne have done a really good job of defending him, but we know in this second half he's going to be looking to find his shots, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've put a lot of effort into him, and sometimes it's just about getting in and trying to annoy him, but it didn't work. He's come out and shot it really efficiently. That is a super play in traffic, to be able to kick it, kiss it off the glass so softly in that type of traffic. He is a class player, fun guy to watch, but he needs some help from some of his teammates in order to reel in this lead.
We're starting to run out of games. Feels crazy to say that as we start to look towards what is coming up next. Wednesday at 5:30, the New Zealand Breakers taking on the Illawarra Hawks. Breakers were pretty good yesterday. They had a nice win, and for the Hawks, they've locked away top spot.
Well, they do. It's about trying to be in the right form as we look at the games remaining, and it's going to be exciting. We've got the derby coming up as well, and still some important games when you think of where teams are going to finish. And the Wildcats are coming off a big win today on the road against the Sydney Kings. They seem to have found their mojo, so they're looking pretty tough as well.
61-54, halftime here at John Cain Arena. I'm off to get some phone books. Third quarter coming up next.
Yeah,
I was born in Hammond, Indiana. As a small kid, I was there till about 7 years old. In my family, we moved to North Carolina. Grew up in North Carolina, it's a hoop state. Grew up around the game, played all three sports, basketball, football, baseball, but fell in love with basketball. Loved the game, got a college scholarship to go play at East Carolina University. Played there for 2 years, then went to Ecker College, and then got into coaching right after college.
Go, go!
Look for it. Was lucky enough to get a position where I was full-time coaching. From there, I just kind of ran with it. Worked at several schools, several colleges in the States, and then in 2018, my college roommate, coaching pro in Germany, asked me to be an assistant. So I go there, I was like, this is great, this is awesome. So this is kind of where I call it my real coaching career took off. It's in 2018. I think once they made their coaching change, I got on the phone, kind of talked through some things.
Initially, I just was introduced to Josh as being someone to be good to know as a friend. With our season being what it was at the time and we started 0-5s, we needed to make a change. And in my mind, try something different, different energy, different philosophy.
I was really excited about the potential of coming here, but at the same time, I was coaching in Turkey, so wasn't sure it was going to actually all work out, but I'm in the most livable city in the world coaching basketball. So that's kind of, that's the ladder of how I got to where I am right now.
Subject of the Dream Big documentary this week, Josh King. You can check it out on all the NBL's platforms, and spoke about it off the top of the coverage today. From 0-5, he's taken this team now to 4th on the table if they're successful today, and well and truly going to be a part of the postseason.
Oh, my word. And it's never any doubt about the talent. I think they were able to put together a very nice roster. They seem to have all the bases covered. And now there was a setback, of course, with Derek Walton Jr. going down, but I believe he's still some sort of chance, Jack, that if the playoffs roll around, that he might be ready.
He might be tracking nicely, is all I've heard.
Yeah, well, I saw he had his big camera out today. He was in charge of the camera work, and it was a big camera.
He said head of media, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe working on the socials.
You also said to him that he looked like he had no idea what he was doing with that camera, didn't you?
It did look a little awkward, but apparently he might have some skills in that area.
61-43. Phoenix come out. Almost land a bucket inside the first 10 seconds. First 2 or 3 minutes of this third quarter for Adelaide. What has to be different? What has to be better?
Defense. It needs to start with that for them. That's been their biggest problem. You know, you've got Southeast Melbourne 61 points on the board right now. And for them, like, if they hold a team by fewer than 90 points, that's when they're 8-1 typically in terms of their record. And they're not on track for that right now.
Back far from it. I'd love to see just a bit more movement, not just ball movement, but player movement in the half court. Get some exchanges, some cutting. Loosen up this defense, which has come out and just tried to get in the lanes and stop the flow of the ball. It's a lot easier to do if you're dealing with a stationary target.
Serving 2 of 7 in the first half. Here's Lat Mayan. Rebound number 7 for Jordan Hunter to go with his 10 points and 3 assists. He's plus 19 in his time on the floor today. Foxwell top of the key. Got it.
See, there's a breakdown there. Just Foxwell gets to catch it at the top of the key, feel the seams of the ball, check the branding, and able to go up and knock it down.
You can have breakdowns because they're going to happen defensively, but it's flying at the shooter and just disrupting the shot. You're not necessarily... That's a great take as well. See, they're just having their way with Adelaide at the moment.
And in transition, it seems like the spark's gone out of them a little bit. Have a look at the Amy replay. And there's the kick out, and that's just way too much time for someone that has developed into a very reliable shooter, particularly when he's that wide open.
45% for the season.
Thank you.
45% for the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got some great stat lines. I feel like people haven't spoken about him as much, but just even his assist turnover ratio, he's got one of the best in the league.
Now Wieskamp tries his luck. Hunter kept it alive. A foul in that rebounding situation, and that'll be Jordan Hunter's third.
Well, he's been able to manage himself in that area a lot better since coming to the Phoenix. Remember with the Sydney King, particularly early on, he was regularly getting into doing some foul trouble. Now, he wasn't happy with that one. Slight shove in the back he gets called for.
Which is a little over 3 fouls a game. Kendrick Davis gets to a nice spot. That's 16. He needs someone to come with him, though.
He does, but I love the way he just snaked the dribble off the on-ball. He just created space for himself and put the defense in a bind of who helps and how long do you stay.
2 more for Matt Hearn. They are just getting whatever they want offensively, the Phoenix, and have done pretty much the entire match. Little floater from DJ. Takes his tally to 8 points. It's still a 21-point deficit for the Adelaide 36ers. How is it breaking down so badly defensively? Is this structure? Is this lack of accountability? What is it?
I think it's all of the above right now, and that the on-ball defense and the way in which the Adelaide 36ers have been trying to execute it the entire season has been a bit of their Achilles heel. And there you see catch on the wing and virtually a straight line drive that's forced a foul. So, you know, all the systems that the coach wants to put in, sitting down, sliding your feet and keeping someone in front, and then how you're going to apply your rules on the on-ball screen and what you're going to do. And they're trying to fight over the top. They're in a bit of a drops action defensively. But the rotations, the help, the talk, it's just the urgency just not there right now.
No, I 100% agree with you, and I think so much of that comes back to the word identity. This has become their identity as a group, and not to say that that can't change, but that team defense, no one should ever feel like they're on an island playing one-on-one defense. There should be guys in the gaps, there should be help defense, stunting the stunter, but that's not really part of their identity defensively.
Well, they need to get that right. That's a good pass by Jason Kadee. And a terrific read by Montrezl Harrell. He read that his defender was helping. He slipped out after the screen, an easy 2.
Danovic out there for Jordan Hunter, who's got the 3 fouls. Foxwell just continues to find a way to score.
Continue to get 2 feet in the paint.
Here's Kendrick Davis, knocks down the 3. He's a solo act right now. He's got 19 of their 52 for the game. No foul called either way. Back out to Foxwell.
I mean, you speak about him being a solo act, and that comes a lot down to even just assists. You know, you're not seeing, that's a great dunk, but because they're not sharing the ball, it's hard for other people to come up and score and have an impact offensively. You've got 8 assists to 17 for Phoenix.
Sobey can't score. We'll be shooting free throws. Matt Kenyon at the scorer's table.
No basket in there. I got active shooting, no basket in the field. 134.
There's Foxwell again. And I think the work that he's doing on the defensive end, when you have that as your focus is primarily on what you're going to do on defense, it can sometimes relieve a lot of pressure on the offense, and you don't overthink it. You're just taking what's presented to you, and it clears your mind because you have a focus in another area.
I agree.
And it's something that people are going through shooters go through shooting slumps, is sometimes it's you coach them to focus in on something to take their mind away from that and get a good feeling about yourself in other areas of the game, and it can help you at the other end.
75-54. Kendrick Davis with 19 points. The only Adelaide player in double figures. As Harold fights for position. Down low. He scores and one.
That was a quick first step, wasn't it? He just got so much separation on that one step.
He's
a tough matchup.
He's a handful,
Yeah.
and we shouldn't be surprised. You look what he's done across a long career in the NBA. Anytime you're winning awards in the NBA, Sixth Man of the Year award.
2020.
Thank you. And anytime you're doing that, you know you come with some incredible credentials.
As is the way with Montrez, he's changed shoes at halftime. That's one of his superstitions. He swaps wheels at the main break.
I would never do that.
Running with the same model, though.
That's it, just different colours.
You got to wear them in a little bit, you know?
Well, that's true. Sometimes they feel that it gets a bit wet. A lot of, if you're a high sweater.
Problem.
Don't want to be slipping around.
Sobey marches the ball up the floor. And then relocates to the corner. Trying to back in on first Kendrick Davis, now Harold. That is tough. And Khadib involves Davis, and now Sunday Dance is a little bit of momentum starting to build here for Adelaide.
It comes with stops. They get the stops, and they're having their problems in the half court. Anytime they can get out in transition, seems like there's a lot more flow to what they're doing.
Glover hasn't really found much flow today, has he? He hasn't really been someone that I've felt their presence as much in this game as he has in others.
Well, I think that just comes down to minutes. He's only played 7 minutes in the contest, hasn't had a real opportunity to get himself going. And I think a lot of that's on the basis of what Foxwell's done. He's been so good out there. It's probably eaten into some of Angus Glover's minutes.
Jason Kadee cuts it back to 14. Adelaide on a run.
I think Adelaide are a better team when Jason Kadee's on the floor and getting a few more minutes, just because he provides a different pace. He provides a different kind of veteran experience and IQ on the floor, and it's not about him.
He lays it up for 2 more. Timeout coming. 36ers have answered back in this third quarter. And for the first time in the afternoon, it's the visitors with momentum.
Well, it certainly is. You may not recognise as the way they go back to the bench. They're sort of not up and about like I thought they would be. But Jason Kadee has given them a spark. And you're right, it's the IQ. It's if there's going to be some help, it's about finding someone else. He's done a good job.
Let's get over to Steph Baumgartel. Phoenix fans dying to know the latest with Derek Walton Jr.
Well, Jack, there's been so much talk about when Derek Walton Jr. is going to come back. We thought we may as well go direct to the source. Derek, you hurt your hamstring a few weeks ago now. Tell us, how are you travelling?
Feeling a lot better. I'm able to start running again. I got to get another test in probably about another week, and I'll know a lot after that one.
How tough is it to watch a match like this from the bench?
It's always tough being a competitor and not being on the floor. Feels foreign to me, honestly. Well, it is tough to watch. It is tough to watch.
We've been told if all goes to plan, you'll return during finals. Is that your hope?
Maybe earlier. That's my goal. That's my goal. But the intention is to come back, of course.
Go well.
Thank you.
What an inclusion he'd be.
Well, I'm reading between the lines, and I'm just trying to...
Oh, here we go. Inspector Gaze.
To me, I think he's a sneaky chance for next week in the throwdown. That's what that's what I sort of gleaned from that. He's hopeful, and I think it'd be good because you don't want to be going into the intensity of that playoff game with an extended period on the sidelines.
Okay. Keep your eyes out next Saturday night here at John Cain. Melbourne at Southeast Melbourne. Andrew Gaze has called it the return of Derek Walton Jr.
Well,
He said, hold on now, hold on.
We've
got our headline now.
Hey, this has been a good stretch right now. Down low, Sunday doing his thing, playing bully ball.
He scored the last 11, Adelaide.
And cut it to 10.
4 of 6 from the field for the afternoon for Sunday Detch.
I mean, Southeast Melbourne, after their last game, they're up by 11 at three-quarter time, and then Perth made that comeback, and so I'm sure they wouldn't want a repeat to that.
Good point.
Last game.
It hasn't been a single-figure margin, Beck, since midway through the second quarter. Malik Lewis, top of the key. That flat jumper doesn't go either. Harrell, coast to coast. He scores and one.
Well, it's a big one too, because the foul's on Geordie Hunter, and that's going to be 4. Josh King rolling the dice with Geordie Hunter. And again in transition, they're getting stops, they're pushing the ball. And there's just a hand, the reach in. Just need to keep that left arm vertical, and might have got away with it. And a chance to cut the lead to 6.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
But Beg, your point is absolutely valid in that they played an exceptional 3 quarters on the road against the Perth Wildcats and put themselves in a highly winnable position, and they blew it.
Davis pass knocked off. Benair's got hurt in transition. And a fumble and a turnover. Phoenix starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, and hopefully they don't get frazzled. That's the thing. There's momentum shifts in every game, but they need to find a way to put a stop on that. They'll need just to get a couple of stops in a row. It's not just in one possession.
Well, they've held like 30, the Phoenix to only 7 points in the quarter.
14 unanswered points for the Adelaide 36ers. Harrell can't add to that. Needs some offense. Angus Glover's normally a man to turn to in that situation. Shot clock at 10, a sloppy inbound pass from Kenyon.
You just can't force it. I understand we want to get the ball into Hurt, but you can't make it that obvious that that's where you're trying to... They're playing so far off him.
Kadee drives, can't score. Harrell crashes the glass. Here's Kadee again. It's good. Jason Kadee has been a spark in this third quarter.
What about Montrez? The O boards has been scarce. They got 3 in the quarter, and the smarts for the relocation to get it to Kadee. He knocks down the 3 ball.
Adelaide back within 4. They trailed by 23 at one point. Ten and 8 for Montrez Harrell. Most of those coming in the third quarter. He's making things happen. An extraordinary third quarter comeback. It's a 2-point game. The Phoenix are absolutely barren at the offensive end.
Get him the ball. If you're not scoring, they need to make it a focus of getting him the ball in the right position so he can create space to the floor as well.
Their first bucket in a very, very long time.
It is, and I think I'd be going back to that as much as you can. Montrez looks spent. He's calling for a sub, in fact. Saying, get me. Gets this 30 seconds, a minute or so. And here, and then of course you've got the 3-quarter time break to have a rest.
Humphries has 3 fouls too.
It's a 20-2 run for the Adelaide 36ers. Game-changing third quarter run.
That's huge.
Well, at both ends, they've been able to fix the problems.
Yeah.
We saw a bit of this Last night with Melbourne United, they give up 61 in the first half and then hold their opponents to 30-odd in the second.
21 points and 4 assists for Kendrick Davis. He has been massive for Adelaide tonight, and Humphries picks up his 4th.
Yeah. That's undisciplined by Humphries as well. He should keep your hands up straight in the air, protect your foul count.
Montrez's rest is very short. Now they know they're going to have an offensive possession coming up. They get Montrez back in. Comes back for that mate. Yeah, this is going to be not only with their systems and structures for the Phoenix, but this is playing with their head a little bit, given what we saw against the Wildcats. You start to second-guess yourself.
They had their chances in that one. Fifth versus 6th on the table as it sits right now. Last play of the quarter with Kendrick Davis. Puts Kenyon on skates, steps back, can't knock down the 3. Harrell offensive rebound. He scores on the 3-quarter time buzzer. And he tells John Cain Arena all about it. An extraordinary 3rd-quarter fight back from the Adelaide 36ers sees a 2-point margin at 3-quarter time. With the Adelaide 36ers, you just never know. You'll see the good, the bad and the ugly all in the space of 4 quarters. But in that 3rd quarter, it was nothing but good. 34 points to 18. They take a 23-point deficit and they cut it to 2 with a quarter to play.
I mean, the game has completely changed, hasn't it? And we've got an atmosphere in here. Never did we think they were going to cut the deficit that big, but this could be anyone's game now.
Jason Cadee and Montrezl Harrell in particular. Montrez had 2 points and 3 rebounds in the first half. He had 7 boards and 12 points in the 3rd alone.
A foul on Sobey, offensive rebound. And Kenyon can't score from underneath either. Nice rescue mission, he got it to Matt Hurt.
You know, I'm glad that Sobey went up and took that shot. He only had 2 in the last quarter. He needed to see a little bit more of the ball.
Well, look at this lineup they go with now. They got basically 4 guards and Montrez. And you could make an argument you've got 4 guards that handle the ball a lot.
Davis lost Kenyon only for a moment. Shot clock at 2 for Sunday Dech. Vasiljevic will have to shoot. He got it away!
I mean, that was good defense by Southeast Melbourne too. The communication was awesome, but that's a lethal shot.
And now an offensive foul. It's a 1-point game. Well, and the body language of Adelaide has changed significantly on the Amy replay.
Have a look at the Amy replay. Just got it off in time. And those were the types of drives we saw in the first half where they were getting to the basket and finishing around the rim. Now they're seeing bodies. And Jason Cadee steps in the lane and forces the turnover with the offensive foul. I don't know about this though.
14 and 10 for Montrez Harrell.
I love it.
The sky hook goes and Adelaide in front.
What a change in opinion.
We got 4 guys nailed to the floor, no movement whatsoever.
I love it.
But ultimately, it's the outcome, and I love it.
They have lead now for the first time in the afternoon. An extraordinary turnaround of events here at John Cain Arena. Matt Kenyon puts the Phoenix back to an advantage of 1.
Well, pounding the paint. They've got some size advantage that they can go out there and go at the Adelaide 36ers.
Kendrick Davis attracting all of the attention. Harrell with a handoff for Vasiljevic. A little jumper. Doesn't go. Montrez tips it in.
Gives Matt Kenyon a stare down as well.
Well, he lets him know.
Jason Cadee with the rebound is plus 31 for the afternoon. Unbelievable impact. Here he is again for 3.
Well, I think it's a 2-toe on the line there. But he's having a huge impact, and it's because it also takes the ball out of Kendrick Davis's hands sometimes. It's not to say that he can't have the ball in his hands, but it just changes up the flow.
What a role he's playing in this game. Harrell got a hand in the paint. Foxwell with the ball on the floor. He was almost tackled by Davis.
It's a bit rude the way that he threw himself on the ball there.
They have called a foul on Davis.
That's the wrong code in this town.
Foul, 1-3. We'll be checking it.
Let's have a look here on the replay.
Yeah, you can't push it right. But to Davis's credits too, as Montrez and Jason Cadee's got going, he's been a facilitator as well. He hasn't looked anxious about going out there and trying to make it on his arm all the time, and that's to his credit.
I also think that DJ just loves the 4th quarter. In so many of his last games, the 4th quarter, he just steps up, and that's sort of been his moment of time to shine.
Well, that's true. And sometimes, Zoe,
it can go either way.
I think he thinks that as well, and I'm sure there was certainly...
You've got to believe in yourself though, Gazy.
There was certainly a couple down the stretch against Brisbane that I think that, maybe on hindsight as they went through the review, that perhaps might have been a couple of poor shot selections, but you're right, he's not going to lack confidence, that's for sure.
Neither will this man, Kendrick Davis. He's got all the tricks. Vasiljevic blocked by Wieskamp. He came flying in and got a good chunk of it.
That's just great defensive intent, isn't it? Just chasing out, getting a fingertip to the ball.
6 on the shot clock for Adelaide. Sunday Dech spins and scores. Josh King wants to talk about it.
Yeah. He needs to talk about it. This has just been ruthlessly efficient. Complete difference from the first half to what we've seen in the second for the Adelaide 36ers.
The lead is 5, and all of a sudden, John Cain Arena's gone very quiet.
It's gone quiet because there hasn't been a whole lot of scores on the South East Melbourne side, but they're going to need to come together in this timeout and figure out what are we going to do? How do we shut down these players? How do we shrink the floor?
Kendrick Davis has 21 points. Montrezl Harrell, 18. Jason Cadee, 15 points. 6 rebounds, 2 assists for the afternoon. And for South East Melbourne, Nathan Sobey, Matt Hurt, Owen Foxwell all have 16. Jordan Hunter has 10, but finds himself anchored to the bench at the moment with 4 fouls.
Montrez has been huge in this one, in the second half in particular. He's been able to score, rebound, and he's actually looked somewhat engaged on the defensive end.
'36ers leaded by 5, 88 to 83. Here's our leaders at the moment in the Mitsubishi Motors 3-point ladder board for the season. DJ Vasiljevic has knocked down 1 today. But a 23-point deficit has now become a 5-point advantage. Remarkable. Here from the unpredictable Adelaide 36ers. Now Foxwell's not getting that 3 to go.
I hope they look to utilise Hunter a little bit more now that he's back on the floor.
You find a stop through Matt Hurt. Wieskamp, little dump off for Hurt. He scores. Just like you asked.
There's some great cutting off the ball as well, and that's what sets that up. You get the great drive where he can look for his own, but then the dump off.
Here's Davis on the move. Tough finish again.
I like it.
Tough.
Good call by Jason Cadee. This is a time where Davis has been a little reserved and now takes matters in his own hands. And Sobey gets the lucky roll.
That needed to go in. 19 points for Nathan Sobey. These two teams trading blows down the stretch. Sunday Ditch. Can't score. Geordie Hunter lands a little awkwardly. Phoenix look to tie it up or take the lead off this possession. Here's Foxwell. South East Melbourne back in front.
That's huge for Foxwell. He's just missed one a couple of possessions ago, but he stayed positive and knocks down a very important 3-ball.
Tangerine timeout with 5 minutes remaining. The Phoenix wrestle the lead back. Owen Foxwell, Beck Allen, has had himself an afternoon. He's just recently got a new 2-year deal, 19 points for the day on 5 of 8 from outside.
He absolutely deserves this 2-year deal. He's set himself up, and he's also been very patient throughout this season. He's just maximised these moments, especially with Derek Walton Jr. being out. Him getting some more minutes and getting the ball in his hands. I just think the way that he facilitates, gets his own buckets, but defensively, I mean, he's been up against some of the best players on the opposition, so he's really showed his impact and that he's a needed player on this South East Melbourne team.
Confidence is an amazing thing, isn't it?
Huge.
Yeah, it is, and another thing about it is he was a young man that had choices. You go the college route, come up through the Victorian junior basketball system, and he stayed with it and had to work his way through the system coming in as a development player and now getting rewarded for it.
A massive 5 minutes remaining here at John Cain Arena. Adelaide in possession. Montrez barges his way in.
It's a strong move, isn't it?
It's a smart move.
Very.
He knows Geordie's got the 4 fouls, doesn't want to foul out, and just goes straight into the body.
Hunter at the other end is fouled. Points will count with 1 to come.
Terrific pass. And have a look at the action here. Comes back, screens, Now, Montrez, he's sort of in no man's land there. Not enough pressure on Sobey, so he can easily make the pass, and too high to have any impact and get back to Geordie Hunter. I think you got to meet it at the source. I think Montrez has got to just take the odds and meet it at the screen. Try and put more ball pressure on earlier. Stop the offense getting so deep into the paint.
Repeat opportunity for the Phoenix. Sobey left the 3-ball short. Knocked out of the hands of Kendrick Davis. Great hustle from Foxwell. Wieskamp lays it up.
And it's going to be an N1. Costly turnover.
I mean, this is the sort of energy that you love to play in.
Oh,
is it?
Yeah, he's gonna review.
No.
Oh, gee, he might have a good claim there.
I think that's a charge. He's moving into place. That's an interesting decision.
Yeah, I think he's got a. On first impressions, it looked like a good call, but that first replay we saw, there's some strong evidence to suggest that Davis got there in time, outside the charge circle.
I don't think so. I don't know. I think he's stepping into it. There's movement there.
Well, he steps in, plants his feet, and Wieskamp hasn't left the floor. This is a bang-bang play that's going to test our man, Scotty Butler.
You've been singing his praises through it.
Well, this is the way to go either way, and you're going to have people complaining on both sides, both fan bases.
I don't know.
Adelaide's going to say that's a charge. Phoenix are going to say it's a block. I would guess more that that's more of a charge than a block, but yes, I'm correct.
I will never be a referee then. I get them all wrong.
Yeah, he got there, in my view.
It's been the most contentious call of the season, the block charge.
But no, not the season.
Ever.
Since James Naismith started this game of basketball.
Second foul off David. Basket doesn't count. Right? Okay, so then you're going to adjust the score. Yes. Yes. Go ball.
So, coach's challenge is successful, but there's a layer to this, Scott Butler. Talk us through it. So confirmation, we'll get back to Scott.
So it's a charge. So it actually wiped the bucket and it goes as an offensive foul. So it's reversed the call. And Adelaide get the ball.
So the score does not count. The score on the screen is correct at 93-92. Big play for the 36ers at one end. And now it's on them at the other end. The double comes for Harrell. Shot clock at 5. Kadee, what a pass inside for Latmayan.
That's just Jason Kadee knowing where his teammates are. Before he'd even received that ball, he read the situation and knew exactly where he was going to distribute the ball to for an easy 2 for Latmayan.
Jason Kadee continuing to make things happen out there. Foxwell, tough 3. That is nothing but fresh Victorian air.
Yeah, 3 seconds. He shot it as if there was half a second left.
I hope that shot doesn't rattle him though. Yes, he got that air ball, but he needs to let that go, move on. There's not enough time to dwell.
They're going to go back to the same play and put the ball in Montrez's hands on the box and test Geordie Hunter with those 4 fouls.
And that'll be foul number 5. Veteran move from Montrez Harrell.
Yeah, that was smart, wasn't it?
He didn't need to reach in, Geordie. Just needed to carry his hands high and move his feet. Wow. Matt Kenyon comes in to replace him.
Top 10 in the competition for points, rebounds and blocks this season, Montrez Harrell.
Can be a bit of a lottery when he goes to the free throw line. 4 or 6 before that one. And that is nothing but net. 66% free throw shooter on the season.
60s, I was trying to think.
There he goes, 1 of 2. 36ers by 2. 13 wins, 14 losses for the season. All 3 games here at John Cain Arena have been 20-point-plus blowouts. Today, we're going all the way to the end. Nathan Sobey comes up big.
Well, it looked like it was going to be another one of those 20-point blowouts in the first half. And boy, did the Adelaide 36ers make some adjustments at the halftime break.
Down by 18 at the half. Kadeem for Vasiljevic, who drew the closeout. This time puts the ball on the floor. Can't lay it up with the left hand. Harrell foul.
He got a nose for the ball. He read that beautifully. Just an instinct for it and where it's going to go. And Heather just looks him in the eye. That man's got to be more connected. Make him a driver in that circumstance. See, he just snakes his way in. He's able to come up with a huge offensive board. And he goes back to the free throw line.
I mean, part of that is that they can't be getting into a jumping contest with him. Find a body on him, get him early so he can't weasel his way in just to get that offensive rebound.
Sunday Detch back in. Jason Kadee out. Suspect that might be tactical from Mike Wells. Detch on the floor for the defensive possession. Adelaide had 6 offensive rebounds for the day. They had none at the half. And of those 6, Montrezl Harrell has 5.
Give him 50 more goes and he can't repeat that shot. Throw it up, clunk it on the back of the iron and have it softly drop in. Huge.
We roll down to the final 2 minutes. Foxwell back to the top of the key. Sobey was big for them on the last possession. This time explores inside. Off the window. Phoenix back by 1. And now it's Adelaide's turn at the offensive end. Harrell crosses over. What a move from Montrez.
The way he gets downhill, attacks his defender's hip.
That's a big man with a crossover dribble that Allen Iverson would have been impressed with.
Second chance possession here for Southeast Melbourne. Down 1. 3 on the clock for Wieskamp. They've lost track of time. Foxwell, foul shooting 3.
They're gonna go and have a look at it. Gee, it looked like there was some contact. And I'm not sure the defense was in a sound defensive position. So I think this is a challenge more in hope than in anything else. It's going to send Foxwell to the free throw line for 3.
So successful a few minutes ago, Mike Wells. This one, though.
Hard to tell from that angle. Yeah, no, he's not going to win this. I can see the argument of Mike Wells because he comes forward, but so is Davis is not in a fundamentally sound defensive position. And that is going to be an easy one for Scott, I believe. You just can't do that. You run into him.
Happened right in front of Mike Wells, too. Maybe the emotion.
He was confident.
Got the better of him, yeah.
And the thing about it is, too, now they still have 2 timeouts remaining, so he'll lose one on this here. Davis. Now, there's a hint of a moving screen by Wieskamp, but yeah, I don't know what else it could be. Jumping forward, and he goes into Foxwell.
So the coach's challenge is going to be unsuccessful. Foul will stand, and Owen Foxwell will walk to the line to shoot three.
Management reviewed it. They got a foul on him.
He's leaning in and creating contact.
Probably A to B. Defender's probably going A to B, taking away his lane of space.
Steps right into the path of my guy.
Mark can explain it to you.
Well, I'd like to have him come over here.
And clearly Mike doesn't have the vision that we've seen. I think he would be less complaining if he had a smell the vision.
Elbow! Katie, you got shooter! What?
For the 14th time in a row, South East Melbourne have scored 90 or more. Owen Foxwell. Cool as a cucumber, knocks down all three. Jason Kadee running the point for the 36ers. Now down to Harrell. This has worked with a lot of success for them in the second half. 2 on the clock. Kadee blocked. And the foul.
Wow. That's only their 4th team foul, so it won't be 2 shots. Jason Kadee forced to take that shot. Montrez put him under a lot of pressure in amongst the tall timber. Only a second left on the shot clock.
But he was the only one to cut. He was the only one to move. Everyone else was just standing and watching. And
Nathan Sobey trying to create some space. Great deep from Mayen. Now he finds room. Can't score. Foxwell with a huge rebound.
what a game he's having.
He's as quick as a hiccup to Glover.
That's quick.
That is short. Davis steps back. Defers to Lat Mayen. He got hurt in the air. Blocked by Wieskamp. Huge defensive play from South East Melbourne. From one end to the other. An enormous 10 seconds in the context of the season for Joe Wieskamp.
Wow. The energy in here right now, the crowd are behind their team. This is an atmosphere.
Well, that Mayen needs to let that fly. He had the free ball and wanted to attack the rim, perhaps lost a little confidence in his shot. And eventually, it's a block. And that's a good block by Wieskamp. And down the other end, just all out of shape with their defense, and an easy 2 for Wieskamp.
It might just be a nail in the Adelaide coffin.
Yeah, those last 2 possessions they'd love to have back. That one by Lat Mayen, and of course the one before that put Jason Kadee in a difficult situation under the basket. So now in this timeout, they're looking for something that they'll advance the ball. They'll look for something that includes an option for a quick 3. But the most important thing is a quick basket. And then they play the free throw game and foul.
Do you go for the 3? Do you go for the 2?
I think you draw something up that gives you an opportunity for a 3, but there's enough time left that if that exposes something really cheap on a slip or something easier at the basket, it's all about a quick bucket.
One chance for Adelaide. Davis couldn't get the 3 ball away. Harrell does. No good. Kadee kept it alive for Vasiljevic. He can't score either. South East Melbourne are going to walk to the other end of the floor and shoot free throws to ice the game.
Well, it is. They might add a second or 2, but it's going to be irrelevant. And they had to withstand a mighty charge by the Adelaide 36ers. And that's encouraging signs for them. And Nathan Sobey and Owen Foxwell in this last 3 minutes have really owned the offensive end and come up with some big plays. They're reviewing the clock and they put 1 second left back on, but it's going to be absolutely irrelevant. Tell you what, it's been one of the loudest Phoenix home games I've heard in a long, maybe ever, in their entire existence.
Incredible atmosphere. Their fans can sense that something is building with this team. Southeast Melbourne survive a dogfight and win on Sunday Hoops, 105-99. And a spot inside the top 3 is still very much on the table.
I mean, they really were able to weather that storm in that third quarter where they lost total control of momentum, but it says a lot to their unity, their togetherness, and being able to overcome that slump that they had to come out with this win.
Yeah, and a good learning experience for them. Well, what we saw in the third quarter, perhaps a little complacent with the big lead, and they paid the price, but give a lot of credit to the Adelaide 36ers. And this is what we've been talking about, how dangerous they are. They've got superstars on their team that can do some very special things. And when they click, it's tough. If they can just get a little more consistency on the defensive end, they've got enough firepower on offense to trouble a lot of teams in this competition.
16th win of the season for Southeast Melbourne. They started 0-5 and all hope looked completely lost. What a ride it's been since then.
It has, and isn't it funny how people can write you off early and you say, if you just stick to what you guys are doing, stick to the process one game at a time, they've just changed the entire narrative and script of what people are, they've already classed them out of the playoffs, so they've done a really good job of turning things around.
There's the potential of where they might finish now. This opens up opportunities for them to, if results go their way, they could be right up there with a home court game.
We'll get to that live ladder very, very shortly, but Steph's got our Foot Locker player of the game.
Sure do, Jack, and if no surprises, it's Owen Foxwell. Owen, it doesn't get much better than that. 22 points for yourself. How did you manage to turn that around?
I think it's just the work we've been putting in. We were up about 20 in the game, and then we let a lot slip, but we stayed tough and we got the win. But 22 points at the end of the day, it's just a number. We got the win at the end of the day.
From where the season began, 0-5, to winning matches like this, to cinching a finals berth, is there a limit to this team's capabilities?
No, not at all. I think we have so much confidence in ourselves. We think we should be higher up the ladder, really, with the games we've let go. So we're going to keep plugging away, and we're ready for any test that comes our way, for sure.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Great performance from Owen Foxwell. The Phoenix dig deep to win today, 105-99. We're going to come back and break it all down and take a look at that all-important Mitsubishi Motors ladder on the other side of this.
And of course, when down the wire, we know that what's going to get just
23 points down to taking the lead in the fourth quarter to losing the lead late in the game. What an afternoon it was here at John Cain Arena. South East Melbourne win 105-99 over Adelaide. That had everything.
It had everything. It had lead changes. It had the crowd behind South East Melbourne. But what an awesome, toughed out grind of a game that was for them.
Yeah, and you look at the ladder and you can see the potential that it brings to them. Now, yeah, got to rely on some teams losing some games, but they could get up to third, and you know, anything can happen. You'd much rather be up there with a home game, with a going into win that and you're straight into the semis. It's an exciting time for Phoenix and their fans.
The final round starts on Wednesday with New Zealand and Illawarra. On behalf of the GOAT, Andrew Gaze, the star that is Beck Allen, Steph Baumgartels, a megastar herself, and all of our team behind the scenes who are legends. They make it all happen. Thanks so much for being with us today. We cannot wait to be with you from Wednesday for the final round of the Hungry Jacks NBL.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jacks and Bunnings Warehouse.